all about spring cleaning, which means it's the perfect time to sit down and get those finances in order. And it's also Money Smart Week here in Chicago. So our next guest is a New York Times best-selling author, and she's here to talk about her new book called Rich Bitch, a simple 12-step plan to getting your financial life together. She just said, yeah, baby, please welcome Nicole Lapin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, ladies.
Okay, needless to say, you got a lot of going on today and in this book. How did you come up with that title?
Rich bitch is a good thing. A rich bitch is a woman who knows exactly what she wants out of life, and then together we're going to figure out how to get the money to get that life we want and live a rich, full life in all aspects of the word.
Okay, so are you a rich bitch?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're so young. How did you become a rich bitch so quick?
Well, first of all, I'm a wildcat. Thank you. First of all, it's a lot of concealer, too. It's kind of plain this morning. But I am a wildcat. My first job was actually here on the floor of the Chicago Merc. I was totally clueless about money. I grew up in an immigrant household, first-generation American, broke out into hives like a lot of ladies looking at the Wall Street Journal, and I needed a job. I just needed a job. I was 18, and I was offered this job as a business reporter, and they said, do you know something about money? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I will learn. And that's exactly what I did. I was thrown into the deep end on the floor with all these traders, and I learned the language of money. And what I realized is that money is just a language like anything else. There just wasn't a Rosetta Stone. We can't be so hard on ourselves. We didn't learn this stuff in school.
See, I don't look at money as a language. I look at money as like, let's spend. That's how I'm like, but that's probably your problem, huh? Or a lot of people's problem.
Well, you need money to live the life you want, that's for sure. But I wanted to create a Rosetta Stone for my former self who was clueless, this girl who was smiling and nodding when talking about money and couldn't join the conversation. So I want other young women to actually join the conversation. So that's why I put the B word in the title, because, you know, a lot of personal finance books are really boring.
Okay.
So I wanted to spice it up a little and change the language.
You know what, Nicole, there are a lot of broke bitches out there right now. So I hate to tell you, but how do we, if we're already starting from the negative, how do we start digging ourselves out? Because I know, I mean, I'm in my 30s. I know a lot of people in their 30s who have student loans. I have a lot of them. Yeah. We're still paying off like our 20s right now, so we're not even at them yet.
Totally.
So how do we start?
Budgeting sucks, but so does being broke. Yeah. That's what I think. It's about creating a sustainable spending plan. Money is a lot like dieting. So if you create a spending plan that's similar to an eating plan and not a budget, it doesn't feel like you're depriving yourself, and it doesn't feel so scary. So I say create an LBD, which is a little budget diary, not a little black dress. Okay. I know you have a lot of those already.
Right.
This also never goes out of style. So 70% of your gross monthly income should go to what I call essentials. So that's the basic stuff that you need to live on.
Okay.
These are the 3 E's. I love alliteration. And then 15% should go to extras. Don't deprive yourself of extras. I'm the only financial expert that will actually argue for your morning latte, because it keeps you on track and keeps you from binging later on like a regular diet. Allow yourself a Hershey's Kiss so you don't end up in the middle of the night noshing on a big old hunk of chocolate cake later on.
Right.
And then 15% to the end game, which is your future self, your future you, your retirement, your savings, everything you want to do.
You said 70%, and then what was the other?
15 and 15.
Okay, good. I'll write that
Okay,
down.
but in your book, you talk about a simple 12-step plan.
That's right.
So let's go over some of those. We probably don't have time for all 12, but if you had to highlight the most important steps in becoming the title of your book, then tell us what those would be.
It's a 12-step plan like other recovery programs, and the first step is admitting you have a problem. Okay. Listen, we all have problems. You know, I have more issues than Vogue. So I talk openly and honestly about all the ways I messed up along the way. So hopefully folks can learn from me, laugh at me, and be inspired by me at the same time. And it just open up the dialogue, you know, because a lot of women don't like to talk about money. We'll talk about everything at the dinner table. Everything before we talk about money.
Well, I mean, G just talked about her financial situation, and, you know, like, what would you say to someone like G and all the, right?
At this rate, I don't know when I'll own a home. Maybe when I'm 62.
There's still hope.
I don't know.
Well, I would say rethink conventional financial start thinking for yourself. So home ownership is not the end all be all.
Yeah.
So in fact, for a lot of folks, you've heard time and again from so-called financial experts, buy a home, don't buy a latte. I say maybe for you, it's rent a home and buy a latte, and that's okay for different folks. It's not a one-size-fits-all. There's no gospel. And when it comes to your student debt, it's prioritizing to pulverize. So not all debt is created equal. It's about coming up with a plan. I got myself in $5,000 of credit card debt. I tell you how I got myself out of it the real deal way, stuff that you never learned in school. This is like the real deal guide to life.
So how did you do it?
Yeah. And so you look at your highest interest rates first, and so you pay that off first. So your credit cards go first, and then your car loans if you have one, because that's a depreciating asset, and then your student loans, because by the way, they can't take your brain.
Right.
You still have your brain.
So
and then
she
finally
shouldn't
your
rush
home
to
if you
pay
have
those
a
student
mortgage.
loans because that's heavy on her.
You should, but if you have credit card debt, that's stuff that you need to prioritize.
I do, and that's what I've been prioritizing. And then with my student loan debt, because, you know, it's surpassed even any other type of debt now in this country.
Sure.
And I just want to explain, just so people know, a lot of my friends have, you know, 6 figures of debt. I'm still around about like 80K. So like I'm just working on that, but I'm trying to get my credit cards done first.
And that's a good thing, and it's about talking about it too, because we're all in the same situation. I did a study with Nielsen that shows women will rather admit their weight, which is also taboo, than their salary. And I think there's a big problem there. We need to open up this dialogue, and we need to help each other.
Right. Okay, finally, what's the best way to break down a spending plan?
The 3 E's.
Okay.
The essentials, extras, and end game we talked about before. So that's your little budget diary. That's your spending plan. That's what you stick to, but allow yourself those small indulgences that keep you on track.
Wait a minute. So you're saying women should tell each other what they're making, their salary?
Absolutely. I talk about how much I make in the book.
Wow.
I do.
All right.
I put my money where my mouth is.
Okay, there you heard it. That's a nice way to end this segment. Thank you so much for being here, Nicole. And go pick a copy of Rich Bitch, which is available now. And I didn't say it. That's her title of her book. And head on over to our Facebook page to ask Nicole questions, because she's not going anywhere. She's going to answer them in After Dark.